All right, welcome everybody. This is Mr. Nice, and you're watching the Kung Fu Fanta podcast. Today's date is Sunday, the 23rd of August, 2026. I got my special guest on today again, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, or Mombasa. And let's see, welcome. I've got everybody over there on watching me over there on Rumble. Thank you everybody for being there, as well as here on YouTube. And let me go ahead and add on KLA. KLA, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. I can listen to you loud and clear.
Okay. All right. So Thanos, thank you for being in. Let me know if you can actually hear me right now, just to do that quick mic check before we get going. So we got 4 people over here. We got 3 people over at Rumble. All right. Just waiting for the. Oh, I got a quick question. I forgot to ask you before we got started. Can you hear the fan in the background?
No, I can't hear.
Okay, great. That's cool. All right, Thanos, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Everybody can hear me. Everybody can hear KLA. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, the video that we're going to be playing today, you've obviously heard that before in the last couple of days, KLA. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So we have Geoffrey, was it Mosiria? Is that how you say his
Yes.
name? Okay.
Yes, Mosteriya.
Okay, so his position, let me read it here because his position seems to be kind of long. So at the Nairobi City County, he is, how would I say this? CCO, Public Participation, Citizen Engagement, and Customer Service. That's quite the title. That's a long title, but that's his position. I've been watching a lot of stuff about him lately, actually, KLA, for the past couple of days. He actually got a TikToker. Her channel on TikTok actually got banned. And I'm like thinking, okay, this guy doesn't work on the federal level, I guess you could say. He works for the county, which is Nairobi,
Yes.
right? But I'm like thinking if he got her channel banned, I'm thinking that she lives in Nairobi. This guy has a lot of power. If he's
A lot.
a lot, okay. So I just wanted to get this because it was very quick. The response was, I believe, on the 18th of this month. Today's the 23rd, and this is not just about him banning her. This is like bringing awareness about the whole social media thing from Kenyans themselves, as well as foreigners coming into Kenya, and using social platforms to produce explicit content. Have you read his 4-page notice to Director General Communications Authority of Kenya? Have you read that yet?
Yes, I read the article that he made a publication on.
Right on the 18th.
Yes, I read it.
Okay, yeah, it's a 4-page document. We're going to bring that up today as well after the video, so everybody can be apprised of what he's saying. But we got another video. This is the same man for those who are here on my last live stream, and we covered the passport Nigerian American guy that was busted there in Nairobi for allegedly essaying a woman there in Nairobi. He was there present during the video as his video presentation to show the arrest. He's still in court. They need more time right now, just for you guys who haven't been updated. He went to court. They need to keep him longer so they could check out all this digital media on his devices to make sure they're doing a thorough investigation on what he possibly could have as evidence against him on those devices, his phone, his laptop, and whatever else they have. So today, I think this is a kind of a historical landmark in my opinion. And let me go ahead and bring that off there. Now you see the thumbnail, and what you see on the right, I believe that was yesterday.
Yes.
That was okay. That was live streamed by the YouTuber In the Streets with Keys. Again, after he was originally arrested, it was an arrest in Mombasa, but it turned into being detainment, and he was released. Okay. He was released with a warning, and he was there at the Nali police station to actually, be explained about the constitution of filming in Kenya, what you can and cannot film, the illegal, it's illegal. So because he didn't know, they let him go. He's being watched, but he was warned not to do it again because he might not be let go the next time. So
Sure.
he's doubled down. Me and you have been talking about this video since yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He's doubled down. He did it again. He promoted sex tourism again in Kenya, but this time in Nairobi, which he's already done in Nairobi before he went to Mombasa. So
And now he went worse.
Right. I think at this point he thinks that he cannot be touched by the Kenyan police. Like he knows how to navigate. I think he's listening to a couple of dummies, like the Big Boss and GMT or whatever type of advice that he's probably listening to. It's not good. It's not good. But everybody, just to let you know, this is what took place last night. As you see on the image, that is an infinity pool on top of the on top of the apartments in Westlands, right? So he doubled down, and this video is about 2 hours. About half of it is in the pool. Before we get started, bro, on the video that we're going to watch today, and we're going to translate from Swahili to English because it's not all in English. What are your thoughts about Keith doing this again?
I think it's just being a stubborn fella. And he's determined to change Kenya to be, like Sesua, Thailand, Colombia, Bogota, He has an agenda, and he has decided to stick to the agenda and make it right. Whatever the government will say or they'll do, to him, I don't think that matters anymore.
Okay. So everybody, you heard that. It's an agenda. And I have to agree, because if you've been following this guy, he gets donations from his subscribers, and subscribers want to see certain types of content. Okay. And he's said on more than one occasion, and he's not the only one who receives funds from his subscribers, saying the exact same thing. You got to give your subscribers what they want, no matter what the laws are of any given country that they're in. It doesn't matter. You got to give what the audience paid for. So therefore, he's putting himself at risk. Others like him are putting themselves at risk of losing their freedom or their ability to ever be in that country again. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. We're going to bring on the video. I'm going to let it play. KLA, just let me know when to stop it. But before we do that, actually, so we already said hello to Kobe. Hi, Ava Miller, Miss Optimistic. Thank you for being in. And for all the others that are just spectating right now, please stand by. And I also have to warn everybody, depending on what's being said, because I don't remember everything that's being said, and you're going to hear some sounds on this video. If you have little ones, I'm just letting you know right now, if you have little ones with the ears open, put on some headphones, move them to the other room, or move yourself to the other room with your device. Please don't let them hear what's going to be played sometime in this video. Okay. All right. So you've been warned, just letting you know. All right. So let's go ahead and get started.
Lakini kumbe akili yenu mpaka inawashinda. Mnajirekodi mkiwa live on TikTok, mkifanya tendo la ndoa, adult content, acting pornography live on media.
Yes.
What kind of society are we raising?
He said you guys are not even scared that you are actually showing yourself having SIX on the TikTok platform, and you don't care. You don't care the kids. You don't care what the society will think about it.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Should we continue?
Yeah. Keep on playing, like maybe like a sentences or something, so that will be easy to translate.
Mtu unafungua online, uko na watoto wako, mkiangalia TikTok, watoto wanaanza kusikia sauti mbaya mbaya.
Okay. You're having your TikTok, and now you're with your kids. You open your TikTok and you start hearing bad sounds like what you just said. as a warning that if they're kids, let them stay. But you can't open your TikTok and play anything because there was some funny sounds will come out.
Okay.
Wakenya na wasalimu wa mjambo. Leo nataka nilizungumzie jambo ambalo limekuwa likifanyika sasa, people are taking advantage, imekuwa adharani na kwa society is against our morals. Juzi nimekuwa tag na video na shindwa nini inaendelea. Kumbe kuna msichana ambaye anajiita Cindy. Ukimwangalia kwenye mtandao anakaa ni mtu ako na adabu. Ukiangalia anakaa ni mtu ako na adabu.
So pause a little bit. So he mentions that he greets people and tells them, I've come to notice that the people who are been sending me some items on the internet, which are not actually looking great or fine. People are just showing it, and so he decided to show us the clip about the woman, which she's saying she looks more composed and in a very particular way that looks appealing. But I think he will say maybe later that that's not the case, and you can continue playing.
Msichana mwenyewe ni mweupe, ni mama mzima, ni mama ya mtu, lakini kumba akili sijui alipeleka wapi.
So she's a woman. She's a woman who is bright. She's brown. I don't know how he had to add that. A mother of a kid, and you might think that she's smart upstairs, but I don't think that's the case. As he has said. Continue playing.
Unawezaje fanya ngono kwenye live TikTok? Digital platform.
How could you have SIS on a TikTok platform?
How can you what on TikTok?
Like create a small porn video.
Oh, corn. Okay. Yeah, corn. All right.
Yeah.
Should be respected. Juzi Sherry Gabriela amefanya tendo kama hilo, akachukua video.
So there's a second person. So that was Cindy the Reborn, whom you mentioned before that the channel was banned.
Right.
That's the person they're talking about. And then now another girl called Cheryl Gabriel, who I think I know the story. She ended up, exposing her nudity.
Wasn't that back like May or June of this year?
It's like a month or so.
Okay. All right.
A month ago and some weeks.
Kaeka kwenye mtandao and no action was taken. Mwingine ni Baha wa Mashachari. Yeye anaitwa Taylor.
Another person going by the name Baha as a nickname, because he was acting in a film. He was actually a young film cast. I don't know if you remember, if you've been watching clearly. It used to be a program that kids were acting. So he was among the cast. So he said that he also showed his nudity.
Was it that popular Kenyan high school show?
No, it's not that one. It's the one that had small kids, like from primary, nursery.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Alifanya video akijirekodi akiwa uji wa mnyama, akiwa anajingisha vidole kwenye tundu la takataka, na kuna action imekuwa taken.
So this might sound very funny because he's saying the gentleman was putting his finger on the wrong hole in his body when he's actually nude, plain, like naked.
Goni mwingine pia hii video imetokea, alikuwa anatembea kama mwanamke, akivaa kama mwanamke, kumbe yeye kweli ni mwanamke. Video imetokea kwenye mtandao, wana share for clout, to gain publicity, to trend.
Another person who dresses himself as a woman and puts that in the internet, and the reality of the things is that this is just a normal man who is just taking up the role, dressing, is it cross-dressing?
Cross-dress,
yeah. Woman, yeah, as a woman, and he said also that's not acceptable. Right. So you can see how the law goes lengthy too.
Right. He's getting pretty detailed.
No, yeah, it's going detail. Yeah. So it's not about only Passport Brothers, but also the Kenyan community is being cleaned up. So let the Passport Brothers not think that it's a target on them.
Okay.
It's the whole moral society being, on track.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
To gain followers, I don't know what for. Hasa ukiangalia mwanamke kama huyu anajiita Cindy Ripon ATF, sijui kama ni ATF au ile engine. Mwanamke mzima na akili zake. How do you go on live TikTok where even your own son, your own children are watching? Mtoto wake labda alikuwa live hiyo usiku akaingia. Mnaingia aje mtu mzima kama huyu anakaa mama mzee huyu? Mtu na akili zake unajirecord live. Mtu kama huyu anafaa shikwe, apelekwe kotini, afungiwe all the social media platform, because our law doesn't allow that to happen. That's misuse of the computer gadgets. You see, hata sheria ukiangalia, the law is very clear. The law states very clear that, jani wasome, the Constitution of Kenya under Article 33, Section 3 provides that every person exercising the right to freedom of expression shall respect the rights and reputations of others.
I thought that was very clear. So
yeah,
you,
it was, and actually translated himself, so it doesn't need for me to ask you to stop it.
Right.
All the things that he said are in English.
But what I want to say about that, it's very clear on what he's saying, what that the Constitution is saying. You have freedom of expression.
Yeah, but it does not succeed to having somebody else freedom of rights, freedoms of others that are bad.
Being violated.
Yeah, being violated because of your freedom of
expression.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I wanted to stop that part right there, because you have, this is where the foreigners come in a lot, is that they come in and they think that their freedom of expression, they don't even know the freedom of expression in Kenya to begin with. They don't even know if Kenya has one, to be honest with you. The thing is that they don't respect another country's freedom of expression if it has it, right? So what they do is they'll take their freedom of expression, that they come from the UK or they come from the United States, and then want to push that against the people that they want to film. So for example, if they're going around Kilimani or Westlands with their camera and somebody says, "Hey, don't put me in your video," and then they basically are going to say, "Well, I'm going to do whatever I want. I don't care, what it is." And they're on a tourist visa. They're not on a visa to where they can earn money legally in the country, but they're going to go ahead and spit on the Constitution and basically, take that freedom of expression, which is for Kenyans, by the way, but I can also imagine it applies to foreigners, but it doesn't apply to disrespecting people if they don't want to be on camera. The law in Kenya says you can't film people if they don't want to be on camera. Okay. It's not the same as it is in the US, where you can film people in the public eye, in the public, right, without their consent. You can film them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can broadcast them, even here in the United States. So KLA just dropped off. I'm going to go ahead and play this a little bit more, guys. He just came back on. Hold on one second. All right, you're back on.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're actually even clearer now too. You were clear before, but you're much clearer now. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. But I just wanted to say real quick is that this is what foreigners are doing in Kenya when they come over. They think they could just film whatever it is that they want. And I'm not talking about all of them, certain individuals, and they're disrespecting people's rights within their own country, thinking that their rights from their country supersedes their country. No, you're in somebody else's country. Your rights from your country does not supersede anything. But let's go.
Additionally, the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act 2018 provides a legal framework for addressing misuse of digital platforms, including unlawful publication or sharing of harmful content. The Children Act 2022 also places a responsibility on society to protect children from exposure to harmful material and exploitation. Now what she's doing, she's exposing her children to content that they shouldn't be seeing. TikTok is meant to bring people together to socialize, to educate, to create awareness, to network, not a pornography platform. So this woman needs to be arrested and be taken to jail. Actually, she doesn't belong in the society. What she's doing, it clearly shows that this someone who has either a mental health problem who should be taken to a rehab. And the best rehab to be is a prison. Prison is not only a place for correction, it's a rehab to rehabilitate such kind of people. Same should happen to Gabriel, Sherry Gabriela, Baha, Kores, and many others. I even asked a question: why do we have some international citizens in our country recording our daughters without their consent and sharing their content to social media, no actions being taken?
All right. He brought up the international issue. So it's not just the local Kenyan issue. So if anybody's listening, Passport Bros or what have you, Passport Sisters, you know, that listen to this guy. If you value your freedom, not being arrested or being detained temporarily, whatever, to get warnings and stuff like that, listen to this. If you have criminal intent, just leave Kenya. If you have criminal intent, go somewhere else where something like that might be legal. But in Kenya, it's not legal. It's just not legal.
Today, I'm going to do a letter to the Director Communications Authority of Kenya, rafiki yangu David Mugonyi, requesting that he do thorough investigation and bring down these social accounts for these people. Let them be completely banned from social media, from TikTok, from Facebook, from Instagram, so that others can learn. If this is not going to be done, then we are continuing to reduce our platforms to pornography sites. We have children who go to this social media platform to learn. We have our daughters who are growing. What kind of influence and their sons are getting from these media platforms? If we don't talk about this, nobody will talk about it. Hii ni mchezo bana. Hatuwezi nyamaza. Watu wakifanya social media imekuwa pornography sites. And this should also go to the leaders in parliament. The law is there. Why can't you question the implementers? Whoever that is tasked to implement this law, what are they doing? They are sleeping on their work. Personally, I'm going to write to the Communications Authority of Kenya Director, request that he do that thorough investigation and bring down these media platforms, especially the owners of those platforms. They be banned completely from even opening another account. All their accounts be suspended, be pulled down, so that they learn and they be a lesson to others.
I just also want to warn, Passport Bros. I can't remember who it was, but it was a couple of different people. They were both American, by the way, messed around in Kenya doing something else. And it wasn't even sex tourism. It was something else. And Kenyan authorities got YouTube to actually, and it was YouTube based, probably something else, got YouTube to actually delete their YouTube channels and got them banned from YouTube. So don't think that just because you're from the United States, it's an American company, that being YouTube, that the Kenyan government doesn't have any reach when it comes to social media, anything coming out of their own country. You'll be wrong about that. If they target you and they contact YouTube, don't be surprised if you wake up without a channel, because this is for real. They also did that to another Kenyan who came to America to live for a while. He's very popular, and he got his YouTube channel taken down. That's, what was his name? Andrew Kibe. Andrew Kibe was bashing women. He was a reactor, by the way, but he was doing a lot of bashing women, doing a lot of red pill content and stuff like that, cussing all the time. I mean, just totally going way out of the YouTube community guidelines. So when the Kenyan government got involved, they got his channel taken down. And actually some privateers, like private companies, also complained about it. So they got his channel taken down. So a couple of Americans, Andrew Kibe, all these guys were living in the States at the time. So don't think it can't happen to you, because it most definitely can.
Kwa sababu inakuwa ni uchungu sana kuona vitu ambazo tufai kuona. Watu wamenitag. And if I don't act, it means I'm also supporting this. Some now end up pretending that they were intentionally recorded. This is not intentional recording. This is not an intentional recording. This is someone who went on media. Unasikia hii, huyu mtu ako live. Live. This is media. Media platform ujinga hii. What is this?
And you know what's kind of weird is that around the same time, I would say on the 18th, on IG, and I think he's looking at TikTok, but hearing the noise in the background, I went on to, I want to say it was a nightclub, right? And I subscribed to it on IG because I've been like looking at some nightclubs and restaurants both, and getting in contact with some of them and stuff like that, right? And but this one particular nightclub, then all of a sudden I must have got hooked on some algorithm, and within minutes I started getting suggestions on my IG on the homepage part of it of these types of videos that we just heard over and over. It's like every 2 to 3 videos was some woman doing something like that. Different women from different countries, a lot of them from America, a lot of them from somewhere in Africa, and a lot of them from India. It was just like, and somewhere else in Asia. It was the same thing over and over and over again. I was like, wow, it's all because of this one particular, what was it? Club that I started following, right? And then all of a sudden that happened. So I had no idea that if you start following a Instagram place, that the algorithm that they have set up, it's going to start suggesting all these videos to you. But this is what he's talking about. KLA, welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, here we go.
Na watu tu wanafollow hapo wajinga. 13,000 people watching this kind of content on social media. And we keep quiet as a government. Then what's our work? And they live in Nairobi. When they pollute the digital platform from Nairobi, post this content, it affects the entire country. Nairobi is Kenya. Anything that is done in Nairobi, it influences what's done in the villages of Kenya. And I think a time has come, we need to protect the society. I always talk about these things about Geoffrey Mosiria and cloud chaser, the content creator. But my work is to engage the citizens. Citizen engagement, I have to tell the citizens in the world they should know. Why do we have to keep quiet while we are losing our society? All these people belong in jail. And I repeat, they belong in jail so that they be rehabilitated there. And I'm going to follow up with director communication.
Yeah, that's correct, Nana. That was TikTok, and I was getting the same type of videos, probably even from that same influencer out of Kenya that was on TikTok or on IG as well. I can only imagine if they're on TikTok, they're on IG.
I'm going to do a letter to him and a share on the media platform because His Excellency the Governor of Nairobi County, Mheshimiwa Sakaja, promised a city of order, dignity, hope and opportunities, not in a physical space. Here, what we are seeing, even in the digital space, there has to be order, there has to be dignity, there has to be, we have to provide a space that can provide opportunities, not pornography sites. We cannot have a country that is now running to dogs and cats and donkeys who operate like there's no law in this country, and we keep quiet. What are we raising as a society? Are we raising pornography actors? Are we raising adult content actors? We have people like Alicia Kanini sharing such contents openly, and people are just celebrating. The other day I saw some people saying that Mosiria has been exposing these people and talking of taking action against them. They are feared sharing such content to continue entertaining them and uniting them. That's nonsense. What is uniting you? You celebrate when someone is becoming a dog, becoming a cat. Even a cat is more disciplined because you will not see a cat peeing hell all over. A cat is more disciplined than Sherry Gabriela, than Bahati, than this is Cindy reborn ATF oil, than this chorus. A cat is more more mature, more responsible than these people. In fact, even the dog is more mature. They cannot be compared. What society are we raising? Elected leaders, why are you quiet? Why are you keeping quiet when we are losing a society? Assuming you are not seeing this digital space being polluted, or you like what you are seeing there, or you are being entertained also, and you want it to continue. You have children. Very soon your children will be recording this. Will you be happy? These people will have their children. Will their children be happy to see this kind of content? This woman, mature woman, who appear to have brain, but the cat is more smart and clever and brainy than her. Huyu anajiita Cindy. Hata paka ni mwelevu kumliko, inamshinda akili. Yaani hata paka imeshinda watu akili. Paka ikitaka hata kuenda haja ndogo, ikitaka kufanya tendo la ndoa inajificha.
What was he saying there? KLA, you're on mute.
Sorry. So I was already starting to speak. I'm saying they're saying the animals are more disciplined, more cultured, and they respect spaces. Even when the cat wants to, go have its can I say it? You don't see them. Yeah.
It's thing. When they want to go do their thing, they find a place to do it. It's not in public, basically.
Yeah, it's not in
They
public.
find somewhere to hide. So yeah.
So it's just having the comparison, like you can't be stupid more than an animal.
All right.
Hautaipata paka ikifanya tendo la ndoa. Hautaipata paka ikienda haja ndogo, haja kubwa, inajificha. Binadamu hapa mko na akili, umezaliwa mko na akili, umesoma, lakini kumbe akili yenu mpaka inawashinda. Mnajirekodi mkiwa live on TikTok mkifanya tendo la ndoa. Adult content, acting pornography live on media. What kind of society are we raising?
Hey, St. James, it's been a long time. Thank you for coming in, bro.
Tunafungua online, uko na watoto wako, mkiangalia TikTok, watoto wanaanza kusikia sauti mbaya. Hapana, Mr. President, I think we are losing this country. We are leaving every person to operate as if the law is not in existence, as if this country is not governed by the rule of law. Very soon we are going to be ungovernable if we continue keeping quiet. Mchungu sana. I feel very bad when I see this kind of things happening in the society and people are quiet. Anyway, yangu niongea, I'm going to raise it up and action must be taken.
And I totally have to agree with him, because the more and more you keep quiet about these things, the more and more it's going to fester.
And that's become a problem.
Yeah.
It has already become a problem. Like even people, when you talk about it, I've been in Mombasa for some time, and now we currently am in Nairobi, handling some issues. And the sad part, I've been showing people what's happening. Like, do you have a problem? Do you know this is a problem? People seem not to be, like interested, because they don't see, even some of them even don't see the mistake, and it's really worrying. It's really worrying. There's a lot of familiarism in whatever is happening.
To answer Jada's question, someone posted that it's mandatory for travelers to have insurance if they stay less than a year in Kenya. Is that true? I don't know about how long the duration is, but it's definitely true. The law was passed, like, I think a day or two shortly after Austin Holloman left Kenya for Asia. And with that, it's stipulated from what I read about it and saw a couple news reports, very short news reports, that foreigners coming over, and if they get hurt in the country and they don't have any insurance, it's putting a stress on the insurance that's available for Kenyans to go towards foreigners to be helped at a hospital in case they need emergency services or they need a extended stay in a hospital. So it's something, from what I understand, that will be enforced at the airport. So you might not even get, it'll probably even be to the point where if you don't show proof on eCitizen, which is where you apply for your visa, that you're not even going to get a visa. So I think that's where it would start. I don't even think they even have to wait till they go to the airport. I think the airport is just going to be a second check. First check is going to be your application online. And then at the airport, I'm sure they're going to probably double verify. So, but yeah, it is true. It is something that was passed in Parliament. I think that was late last month, maybe the last day of last month. I don't know, or a couple days in the first week of this month. Do you have any more details about that?
Yeah, I think it was passed, but I think the president has to assent to the law, like sign it, assent and sign to the law.
So it's not been gazetted yet?
I am not sure about it. I don't have final details of it, but I think anything that's passed at the parliament has to go through the president's desk. So anytime for now, it might be signed.
Okay. So that answers. I would say that answers that question for now. Any more details? Maybe we just need to study up on it more. We'll let everybody know, and if you don't find out sooner on what that really entails, and will it be enforced? If it has to do with saving the government money, I think it will be enforced. I really do, because there's a lot of people that get hurt. I mean, there was a helicopter crash. I think it was on Mount Kenya, like about 5 days ago.
And that will make it even more. That will make it even more palpable reason to enforce it, because these are foreigners who lost their lives,
right?
And we do not know about the insurance policy that they had about. So that will make it the government may enforce it. That's a possible way of making that enforcement.
Right, and 5 of those 7 people that died were Americans. So who knows what they had, but if I can remember, it cost like $2,000 each person to be in those helicopter rides for Mount Kenya. So if they're going to pay that kind of money for a seat, I would imagine that they already had insurance for those individuals. But majority, I guess, of people, or just maybe too many people, are coming into the country without any insurance. And it's always recommended from what I see from like the U.S. government, stuff like that, like the embassy, that you should come with your own insurance anyway. So other countries also recommend that as well, that don't enforce it, I guess. So, but other than that, what I want to do next is I want to read everybody the letter that this gentleman on the screen sent to the other gentleman from, I can't remember what it is, but I'll just bring it up on the screen for everybody to read, but it's a little small. There's 4 pages on it here. So basically what it's saying that this is a request for intervention on misuse of digital platforms and protection of children and public morality in online spaces. Okay. But mostly I would imagine this is talking about Kenya. And I've heard the same gentleman talk about what goes on in Nairobi influences the rest of Kenya. So in the villages and everything. So Nairobi gets influences from the outside. Nairobians practice that, reproduce it. And then the rest of Kenya gets exposed to it because Nairobians are all over the media. So what it's saying here from Geoffrey is that Nairobi City County, being the capital city of Kenya and the country's economic, social, and political hub, carries a responsibility of setting standards that reflect dignity, order, hope, and opportunities. Under the leadership of HE, the governor, Nairobi City County government has committed to building a city of order, dignity, hope, and opportunities. The commitment is not only reflected in our physical spaces, but also extends to our digital environment. Where responsible engagement, respect, and protection of our values must be upheld. The digital space has become an important part of our daily lives, providing opportunities for education, business, communication, and innovation. However, with these opportunities comes the responsibility to ensure that online platforms are not misused in ways that undermine the dignity of our society, expose children to inappropriate material, or violate existing laws. Nairobi, being the capital city, has a unique influence. So this is where he's talking about it. Has a unique influence beyond its geographical boundaries. Content created and shared by residents within Nairobi's digital spaces often reaches, let me go to the second page here. Often reaches audiences across the entire country and beyond. Therefore, maintaining responsible digital behavior within the city is a national concern and responsibility. So basically, what he's saying, when you have like bad influencing going online, it's and if it spreads, it's like a cancer. And we all know fighting cancer is no fun. Now, fighting bad influence is no fun either. I'm not having fun doing this. But the thing is that it has to be rectified or it will get worse. So he goes on to say, it has been noted with great concern following complaints and reports from members of the public that some individuals have intentionally created and disrupted online content containing explicit adult material through social media platforms, which is very true. Some have further engaged in live streaming activities like In the Streets with Keys, Big Boss, and all these other weirdos, okay? Engaged in live streaming activities that residents consider inappropriate and harmful, raising concerns about the misuse of digital platforms and the impact such content has on children, young people, and the moral fabric of society. The Constitution of Kenya, under Article 33, Section 3, provides that every person exercising the right to freedom of expression shall respect the rights and reputation of others. Additionally, the Computer Misuse of Cybercrimes Act 2018 provides a legal framework for addressing misuse of digital platforms, including unlawful publication or sharing of harmful content. The Children Act 2022 also places a responsibility. So there's extra responsibilities here. And I think this is where a lot of social media people that grow their channels really fast, their platforms really fast, and they don't get any legal advice, doesn't matter what country they're in, they find themselves in trouble because they just do things based on request a lot of times from their own subscribers, their own followers, right? And that's a very dangerous thing to do. So let me continue on with that paragraph. The Children Act 2022 also places a responsibility on society to protect children from exposure to harmful material and exploitation, right? So he mentioned this earlier in the video that they're being exposed. They can just go on somewhere and then all of a sudden see a crazy advertisement, a crazy channel, a crazy anything on any platform without looking for that craziness that they might just run into. Just like I said, when I was on Instagram, I went ahead and followed a club in Nairobi. And then all of a sudden I started getting all these weird videos immediately right after that. I think it's because at this particular club, there's a lot of saucy stuff that goes on in that club. So I think a lot of people tag it or whatever, and their own algorithm at Meta is having you get all these weird videos from people doing weird things. Okay, so it goes on to say, while we recognize the importance of freedom of expression and creativity, such freedoms must be exercised responsibly and within the limits provided by the law. Digital platforms should not become avenues for the promotion of explicit content, which is promoting sex tourism and other things, okay? Exploitation or behavior that negatively affects children and young people. Now let's go to page 3. Goes on to say, children increasingly access digital platforms for education, research, and communication purposes. However, due to the open nature of the internet, parents and guardians may not always have full control over the content children encounter. Exposure to inappropriate material can negatively influence young people, which is true, and undermine efforts by families, which again is true, schools, and society to promote responsible values. As a chief officer responsible for public participation, citizen engagement, and customer service, I have a responsibility to ensure that Nairobi residents' concerns are addressed and that engagement between citizens and government remain positive and constructive. Protecting the dignity of our people, especially children and young people, remains a priority. I wish to highlight that cases involving individuals accused of sharing explicit and harmful content, including Cindy Reborn ATF, Elisa Canini, Cheryl Gabriela, Baha of Machacha Ari, Con Corez, and others, should be subjected to proper investigation by the relevant authorities. Where violations of the law are established, appropriate legal action should be taken without fear or favor. This is important in sending a clear message that Kenya's digital space must be used responsibly, and that the online influence, popularity, or large following should never place anyone above the law. And then a lot of people, when they're on social media, they feel like they're above the law, such as people like O'Shea and other people, right? And people like that Russian guy that came to Kenya, right? People like Dua Pintu from Romania. These guys think they're above the law, all right? The protection of children, preservation of public dignity, and the enforcement of our laws must remain a collective responsibility. I therefore request the intervention of the Communications Authority of Kenya to, 1, investigate reports cases of misuse of digital platforms involving the creation and distribution of explicit adult content. 2, take appropriate regulatory action against individuals and platforms. Okay, you hear this, right? Not just the individuals, but against the platforms that are in other countries. All right, found to have violated Kenyan laws. So these individuals and platforms found to have violated Kenyan laws and digital regulations. I'm telling you, for those people who don't believe, Kenya has reach. In other governments of other countries, they too have reach that you don't understand. It's way beyond your scope of understanding, y'all criminals out there. Way beyond. Okay, we're on the last page. Excuse me. As Geoffrey wraps it up here. 3, work with relevant security agencies where criminal offenses are established. 4, strengthen public awareness on responsible digital citizenship and the protection of children online. The information and evidence relating to the reported content, including material shared with our office by concerned members of the public. So for those who think it's some type of conspiracy, whatever, we're talking about concerned members of the public will call authorities if they see something that's irregular on social media, some type of law that you're violating. So expect that, okay? Is available and shall be provided to support investigations and appropriate action. Last paragraph. This matter presents an opportunity for a national conversation on digital responsibility, freedom of expression, protection of children online, and the need to maintain a safe, respectful, and dignified digital environment for all Kenyans. I appreciate your urgent attention and support in addressing this matter. Signed, Geoffrey. KLA.
Yes, I'm here. I had to unmute.
So, I mean, we're going to wrap this up pretty soon, but now after all of that and what he has to say, what's your thoughts on this whole ordeal and that letter?
Yeah, I think that letter came in at the right time, and this has come at the right time when, you know, we have not yet have a rundown of the Nairobi city with Passport Brothers, or morality has gone down because of Kenyans also publicly displaying nudity, you know, to the society. So I believe that this is the right time to do it.
Okay. Yeah. So if Geoffrey or other people start, you know, bringing more of this out, we'll go ahead and and arrange a time. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this off to other people so they can see it. Kenyans are getting this news, obviously, because there are even some naysayers, even from Kenyans themselves, who, just like Americans, you have trolls and stuff like that like to make fun of anything that's positive, like to abuse the good graces of people's hearts and trying to protect their children and their women and their society, their culture, and everything like that. So you have people from everywhere, from every country, that does that. And these people are just not good fits for society. They don't really want to improve society. They want to see chaos. They want to turn the world into Sodom and Gomorrah. They want some people want you to be under religious prosecution and stuff like that. It's like they want to take what's good about society and turn it upside down. And unfortunately, this is something that, if we want society to function normally and well, we can't allow any of this to happen. We got to protect our rights of freedom, but at the same time, we got to protect the rights of people who want to be respected and don't want to have anything to do with maybe what you want to have done, within your own life. If they don't want to be a participant of whatever it is that you're doing, it's okay to feel a certain way, but you can't go out and do certain things in society and think that everything you do is legal, because it's not, or maybe legal in one place and not in another country that you go to. This is very important for everybody to understand. And right now, the way Geoffrey's going at it, he's not the only Kenyan that feels this way. There's a lot of Kenyans that feel this way. And I can most definitely tell you, even if most people ain't talking about it, that what they feel is much bigger than the conversation. And most Kenyans, I know for a fact, are not for this stuff. It's always the seedy, bad people that are of a smaller percentage of a population that want to get into this stuff. And who do they usually have to depend on? Is not people in their local area, but to find a little bit of people over here, a little people over there to gather up to build an audience so they can take their clothes off and do whatever and get donations online and stuff like that. That's craziness. So it's definitely not the majority of the people that are into this. Kayla?
Yes.
So if you got any last words, we'll go ahead and talk about them now, and then we'll wrap this up.
My last words will be, the government is taking actions to end this, situations that are happening in the country. Either you're a foreigner or either you're a Kenyan. The government is watching closely, and I believe it's for the better of the country, because, man, I've been seeing what's happening in Colombia, Thailand, Sesua. Is not something to be pleased with at all. So I believe whatever the government has to do, let it do it. Make sure the streets are clean on the digital spaces and also physically, because you remember, it's not only there was also a case of somebody was not digitally there, but was actually an arrest was made on him. So I will just want to say kudos to the government, kudos to the this officer who is in charge of citizen engagement, Geoffrey Mosiria, for his good work he's doing. And we pray that he would be able to manage this mess once and for all.
Yeah, and then once that's done, it needs to be maintained after that, because people move on to different positions, or as time goes, things change. But there's certain things you can never let change. And morality is one of them. If you want to have a functioning society, you can let technology change. You can let the styles of cars change, the way buildings are built, but the fabric of society needs to remain the same, because otherwise the fabric of society will fall apart. And history has shown that. All right, everybody. I'd like to thank everybody. Fatuma, I will talk about JT, the bigger figure, again. It's just not going to be, I would say it's not going to be anytime soon, but it's definitely on my bucket list, because like I said, well, you probably weren't here at the last live streams. I think it was Tuteo was asking about the same thing. So I will bring him up again, bring up some old live streams of both me, KLA, and the former lawyer of JT. And we'll expound more on that particular individual, but that's going to be later on. Right now, it's just time. and there's not that much time to do a lot of live streams like I used to do. So other than that, you're welcome. I appreciate it. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, everybody. I appreciate everybody being here. This is very important. Please share Geoffrey's video. I will later link his Facebook, which is probably the cleanest. Well, I'll do Instagram and Facebook of the same video of him that we just had translated here. Okay. And go support the gentleman. If you know anybody else that wants to, that's in government and they're having issues in their countries, you know, Colombia has already taken action against these people. Brazil might be getting even tougher on these people. Kenya is definitely getting tougher on it. So, and even in Thailand, they're getting tougher on it. A lot of people, these passport bros, as an example, and also other nuisance streamers, IRL nuisance streamers, like Johnny Somali is a great example, are making businesses look bad when they go in and do things in their establishment. So a lot of that in Thailand right now has to do with people acting up in public places. It's not necessarily like tourism. It's people acting up in public places, right? And a lot of the passport bros, they act up in public spaces along with these IRL people. And a lot of the passport bros, as an example, do IRLs at the same time. So this has become a worldwide issue with IRL people. Japan's sick of it. South Korea is sick of it. And South Korea, by the way, is where Johnny Somali is in jail for at least a year for all the stuff that he did over there. And he might face some consequences. He might be extradited to Japan for the stuff he did over there. So this is a real thing. People are starting to speak up. People are fighting back. Laws are being changed due to a lot of stuff. A lot of these people are ruining it for the rest of us who want to make good vlogs, want to make great videos. And to be honest with you, if it takes everybody that wants to film in somebody's country a business visa in order to legally do it, because you can't trust people just taking a vacation and taking a video and it's going to be for personal use only, guess what? I'm all for it. With what's going on, I'm all for it. Let the government make some more money. At the same time, it's good for the country. But also, if they film a crime and they did it legally with the business visa, people are still going to come after you guys. Plain and simple. Kile, last words?
My last words would be, yes, the government should go for whatever feels better for the society. And those who are actually continuing doing this, your time is coming up. You need to change. And if you don't change, the law will catch up. The law will catch up with you sooner or later. So I believe the government is doing a good job in Kenya. And I really want to praise them because they've taken action before anything bad has happened. You know, like when I look at other countries, things had to go bad for them to take action. But I'm seeing Kenya has taken a different lead of time that they've decided to close this chapter before it happens. Yes. And thank you, everybody, for coming up today.
Okay, so everybody heard that. We'll be back again. I'll have, if not before the next weekend of next week, I will have some more stuff during the week. So if anybody's seen a couple of short videos that I brought up this past 5 days, go check those out. They're under my regular pre-recorded uploaded videos. You can also see them on Rumble. So whatever I do over here, I'm having over there as well. So please support me on Rumble. Go, because there's going to be some live streams in the future. I said this before that I'm going to do on Rumble that I can't do on YouTube. So whenever those come up, it's a good idea to go ahead and subscribe over at Rumble, because that's where some of the action is going to be. So on that note, everybody, thank you for coming in. This is Mr. Nice. You're watching the Kung Fu Fanta podcast, and we are out. Cheers.